Darksiders Genesis is a great new direction for a series known for many different directions. While its isometric view may conjure thoughts of Diablo, rest assured, this is a Darksiders game through and through, with hard-hitting combat, dungeon diving, exploration, and more than a few press B to brutally murder executions. It's not the most polished game around, but it makes it up with great gameplay that is just as fun at the start as it is at the end.
You ever get tired of endlessly slaughtering hordes and hordes of demons?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
As the name implies, Genesis takes place at the very beginning of Darksiders lore. The overarching plot is pretty standard fare and functions mostly just to give the playable pair of characters, War and Strife, reasons to visit a location, kill a big bad demon, turn off a poison faucet, and so on. The real star of Genesis' 15-hour story is the dynamic between its two main characters.
Okay, you almost had me.
The witty and snarky Strife is the perfect foil to the straight-laced and duty-bound War, and their pairing immediately brings to mind the dynamic and chemistry of Peter Quill and Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Knock, knock. You're supposed to say, who's there?
Why would I give away my location? I would simply smash through the door and face my assailant.
These lighthearted exchanges are complemented with some heartfelt moments as they both cope with the guilt stemming from their betrayal of the Nephilim during the War for Eden, along with some deeper-rooted demons, figuratively speaking, of course. Perhaps the most surprising thing about Genesis is just how well the fast-paced, hard-hitting style of Darksiders combat translates to an isometric camera style. War plays exactly like he does in the original Darksiders. It all feels really good. War's attacks feel weighty and impactful, sending smaller demons flying when he hits, and the action remains quick, aggressive, and reactive thanks to the ability to cancel any attack with a block or dodge. Then there's Strife, who finally makes his playable debut in a Darksiders game with a more agile, ranged style that focuses on 7 different types of ammo for his guns that he can eventually add to his arsenal, multiple dashes, and hot streak meter that can dramatically improve his weapons for a short amount of time. In solo mode, you can switch between the two characters at any time, and in co-op, each player controls one of the Horsemen. The split-screen local co-op isn't ideal since the reduced screen space makes it easy for enemies to hit you from off-screen, but it's better than nothing and at least allows you to explore without being tethered to your partner on a short leash. The biggest bummer about combat and the camera angle is when the foreground obscures the action. Why can I see the outlines of my characters, but not what's hitting me? It's never a problem for too long, but it's frustrating whenever it happens. Similarly annoying is when your character gets stuck in the geometry, which happened to me far more often than it should. Switching characters and jumping a whole bunch typically got me out of any jam, but that's a telltale sign of an overall lack of polish, and it's a bit disappointing to see.
Destroy it all!
Genesis' greatest success is making its gameplay thoroughly engaging throughout all of its campaign and beyond. There are mandatory upgrades that introduce fun new facets to both combat and puzzle solving, like War's chargeable Tremor Gauntlet, which gives him a chargeable long-range attack, and then there's Strife's Void Bomb, which enables some great Portal-like puzzles. But if you really explore every inch of the map, you can find some potent upgrades that you'll miss if you speed through. War's Death Touch enhancement is a favorite, because it can cause a chain reaction of corpse explosions. And let me say, I rarely have any desire to replay levels during my first playthrough, but in Genesis, I actively wanted to revisit earlier stages with new abilities in order to explore a previously closed off pathway. You never know whether you'll find an epic chest with cool stuff like a new ammo type for Strife, a new enhancement for War, or a new special ability. There's also a unique progression system involving creature cores that strongly encourages replaying levels or participating in combat arenas to improve stats. There are 3 types of cores that are randomly dropped by enemies, and you get a significant matching bonus if you match the type of core with the corresponding slot. Obtaining duplicate cores also serves to upgrade them, but if a level 3 core is placed in a level 1 slot, it'll only get the level 1 benefits. So there's another thing you have to consider. Trust me, it sounds more complicated than it actually is, and it's pretty satisfying to reconfigure your core placements and squeeze out some extra stats. However, once all the slots are filled and you need to focus on grinding levels in order to improve specific creature cores so you can survive on apocalyptic difficulty, which is effectively New Game Plus, it becomes more of a chore to hunt down specific monsters and specific levels in order to upgrade them to max level. especially since the amount of time needed to increase just one soul to level 3 is fairly substantial for just a small incremental gain in your stats. It turned into a bit of a slog, but at least the combat remains enjoyable enough to make it feel worthwhile. Darksiders Genesis may lack the polish and flair of its numbered brethren, but make no mistake, this is still a Darksiders game, and it's one of the best. There's a really strong balance of great combat, clever puzzles, rich exploration, and excellent progression mechanics that keep its momentum going strong throughout its 15-hour runtime. I wouldn't say that I think this is the new style that should be the new standard for the Darksiders series going forward, but I do hope this spin-off isn't a one-off, because there's a ton of potential here to explore. For more Darksiders Genesis, check out the first minutes of the game. And for everything else, keep it here on IGN.